Hello and welcome back to the RattleMind Podcast. I'm Rye, and joining me as always is my co-host.
Banshee.
Awesome. And as Monday goes, we're just going to talk about whatever we want, because it's Monday. So, start of the work week, everyone's weird.
My Mondays are technically Sundays. I get Fridays and Saturdays off, so my Sundays kind of feel like Mondays, but a little more chill because a lot of people think we're closed on Sunday.
Yeah, when I worked, which I'll probably go back to work on in the summer, my days off were never the same week to week.
Oh, yeah, I've been there.
It annoys the tarnation out of me. That's why
Unfortunately, it's just so normalized, though.
yeah, that's why I hate retail.
Yeah.
Well, since we're talking somewhat about jobs, I'm considering going back to school so that I can get a stable-ish job.
Oh,
Yep,
some.
I am considering actually going to school. Well, either going to school or going through a company to get the certifications I need, and then
Mm-hmm.
get a better job after that. But one of my options is pharmacy tech.
Yes.
I get to
That.
dish out all your pills. I know what drugs you were on.
Share. No,
Uh,
they get paid, man. That's a good paid
yeah, and
and and no food allergy.
yeah, absolutely no food allergies to worry about. Uh,
Sheesh.
except for the fact that there might be soy in some of the pill casings. But
Oh my
I'm
God.
not physically allergic to soy. It's only if I ingest it. So it's not a big deal
Right.
then.
Okay, good.
So that's nothing to worry about. The other thing is I would be wearing gloves anyway, so
Right, yeah. That's good. And using the little scoopy tool.
yep. The fun little push the little slider over to put it into the pill
Yeah.
thingy to pour it into the container. But if I do that, sorry, if I do go into pharmacy tech, I either have to do an online course or I have to work at CVS and get on the job training for my certification.
hmm
So the problem is,
Which,
is that the CVS I could work at for some reason are all an hour away.
oh, for some, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's because you live in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Uh,
I mean, that would be the preferable way to do it though, because you have beast hands-on experience to go off of
right.
and somebody there who you can talk to about it who could help you, you know? So it's really sad set of
You
circumstances.
know, the funny thing though about certifications is if you can pass the written test, you're certified.
Oh, okay, that's not so bad.
So technically, you could just study on your own, pay the $100 or $200 to take the test, pass it, and then get a job.
There you go.
Now, if I were to actually become a pharmacy tech, I would probably work in town at the small clinic that's here in town for a year, and then try and get on at a hospital, working 12-hour shifts a week.
Ooh, I would be so down to do that. Longer shifts but shorter work weeks. Uh, my job is too based on like when we're actually open. We're not open. We're open like normal business hours, you know,
Right.
like it's almost a 9 to 5 job. Like it's off by like a hair. So,
Yeah.
but that's what I know people that do that. I'm always so jelly because I'd rather stay home the majority of the week.
Me too. In fact, I think everybody knows that I prefer to be home than anywhere else.
Right.
But you have to have at least a year's experience before you can actually get hired on to a hospital.
Right.
So that's where the work and train could actually be a benefit.
Mhm. Yeah, for sure.
The other thing that I would want to learn how to do, and I'll probably eventually learn how to do anyway, is to be a welder.
Right. Yeah, we were talking about that from the beginning,
Yeah, from
actually.
the what you'd like to learn how to do thing.
Yeah.
Um, but I found out that there's welding classes only 20 minutes away, so
Oh, cool.
it's at the community college for the town the bigger
That
town
kind
that's
of
nearby.
right, and that kind of thing is where living in the middle of nowhere comes in handy. Like that's where like I feel like it'd be easier to find those like hands-on like trade kind of training,
Yeah,
like the intense gonna need a lot of space away from neighbors kind of thing, like because that's a lot of heat and noise and mess and
yeah. Well, up in the city near Kansas City, the community college up there has welding classes as well, but it's part of the railroad program because one of the major railroad companies that deliver freight railroad wise and run the actual tracks is contracted with the school to teach railroad safety and stuff like that, as well as industrial welding and things like that.
huh, okay,
So that's kind of cool. But,
yeah,
that's an hour away, and I'm not going up there. So the 20 minutes away is much better option.
right.
Um, but yeah, I want a job that I can do or not do, but still have enough money to, live.
Right, of course. That's what anybody wants. It's hard to get, but
Yeah,
it's what everybody wants.
that's why I'm more heavily leaning towards pharmacy tech because of the I could work at a hospital for 12 hours, 3 days a week thing.
Yeah.
And another thing you could do is when you're a pharmacy tech working at a hospital, you can either work during the daytime or at night. I would probably work at night.
Yeah.
So it would literally be like 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
You would definitely be allowed to be a night owl,
Yep,
like I am a night owl, but I'm not allowed to be one. I try
exactly.
to be one, but I usually end up paying for it when I go to work the next day.
The only issue, well, actually, one of another major benefit out working at a hospital, guess what you get to wear?
Scrubs.
Exactly. You can wear scrubs to work.
I've heard legends of the comfort of scrubs.
Yeah. Uh, of course, some hospitals dictate what color of scrubs you can have or what style, but you know what? It's not having to worry about a dress button-up shirt and a tie, so
Right, right.
that's a huge bonus.
It's like a uniform, but like the best kind of uniform.
Yeah, and you also get to wear one of the fancy lab coats.
Ooh.
Oh. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing.
And once you're making that income, you'll have the money to go an hour away if you wanted to for welding. Because, like, you can just Uber anytime.
Right, or I could get my own car because if I'm going to be working at a hospital, they're all going to be about
Yeah.
45 to 50 miles away. So
Right.
at that point, if I'm making money, I'm buying myself a car that is comfortable and my butt won't hurt after sitting for an hour.
Is that what happens when you drive your sister's car?
It's not that bad because most of the time I only drive for like half an hour. But um, after a while, sitting in the car back and forth, your butt does start to
Yeah.
get tired.
We're about to go in July, the first week of July, we're going to Maine, and we decided to rent a car. It's a hell of a lot cheaper than flying,
Yeah.
but at the same time, from here, it's like a what I say, 14-hour drive. So we got a really good deal on a rental. The
Nice.
catch was we had to pay for it up front,
Right.
fine, whatever. But for some reason, it's listed as an electric car, possibly even a Tesla, which I have zero experience with, and I'm very excited to see what that's like.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. So if we get a car that nice, it better be comfy for 14 hours, god damn it.
Well, the other good thing about a Tesla is that it has self-drive if you have the right one.
Yeah,
So,
that's what David was really eager to try was the self-driving, and I was like, you really trust it that much? And it's like, we'll see what happens.
one of the things I know about the Tesla is that every few minutes you have to touch the steering wheel when it's on autopilot.
Okay.
Otherwise, it will pull over and stop you. I could be
Good.
wrong.
I like
I'm
that.
gonna.
Like
I'm gonna
I like that it doesn't let you like take a nap while you're on the road, you
yeah.
know.
Well, I can't be 100% sure because like I said, I've never driven a Tesla either. This is just sort of like quadruple hand
Rumor.
knowledge from what I've heard.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
this could be someone just talking out their butt, and I'm parodying it with no real understanding.
Well, I'll let you know how it goes.
ah, yeah. So if I ever went on a road trip, which I someday I want to do a big road trip, I want to rent a huge RV or buy a huge RV.
My grandparents had one, and we used to go to Lake Erie every year
Yeah.
for Labor Day weekend, and they would take their big old RV. And the only circumstance that I would be okay with that, it would be if I never have to drive it. Like, I am terrified, petrified of driving large vehicles. Um, like I can't stand the thought of even driving like a my ex-husband Sonny used to have this big white pickup truck and I drove it a couple times, but it was terrifying. Nothing happened, thank God, but like it was I hated it. I hated every second of it. So that would be the only circumstance in which I'd be like, yeah, let's get an RV as long as you drive me everywhere.
See, I wouldn't mind driving an RV because I prefer the bigger vehicles that are up higher and I can,
Oh,
most of the time they have better headroom in them as well. So, I'm not bashing my head on the door frame getting in.
right. Well, definitely pick me up on the way, wherever you're going in your RV. So,
Yeah, I wonder where I would go to. I mean, I would like to go back to the crystal stuff in Arkansas and do digging in there again.
dude, when you suggested that, I was like, that would be so cool. So I figured out where the wedding was that I'm going to in Arkansas, and it turns out it's in Hot Springs, I think, something Springs,
Cool.
and which is like there are crystal sites there, like
Yeah,
crystal digging sites. And I was like, okay, yeah, I will extend my trip by a few days to be able to go do that. So like you literally inspired me to do something really cool on this trip, so I owe you one.
you're welcome.
Yee.
See, I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have when I was younger. So I'd like to, go back and try again.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, speaking of large vehicles, though, for a while there, I was considering learning to drive a semi.
Holy crap. Uh
Yeah,
No, I mean, you know, that I get the appeal. I do. And I've met some really cool semi truck drivers. Like I used to work at a hotel and we always had deals for semi truck drivers and like they would come back with some crazy stories and personalities
yeah.
and stuff. And like I get the appeal. I really do. Um Me? No. Hell to the no. I would rather die than drive a semi truck. And how often I get mad at some semi-truck drivers. That's not a good mix. I know
See,
not all of them are bad. I love semi-truck drivers. Don't come after me. But dear God, it's like one of those things that if you're bad at it, you could do a lot of damage
oh yeah.
and cause a lot of stress. And semi trucks be stressing me out sometimes. Oh my God.
But yeah,
So don't do that.
don't be a semi truck driver near
Sorry, we're
you.
quiet. So.
Uh, my uncle used to drive a semi truck. I don't know if he still does, because of COVID, things got stupid.
Yeah.
But he used to drive the semi tractors, the semi trucks, hauling the monster trucks to their shows.
Oh.
So that was pretty cool. I've never actually,
Interesting.
seen him do it or anything like that, but that's what he
So
did for a living, and he seemed
that's
to have
nifty.
enjoyed it.
I would like I would totally go on a trip with a truck driver, especially if they have one of those like really nice like cabins with like the like bed and the mini fridge and the micro, like
Right.
some of those like cabins are so nice. They might as well be an RV, like you're literally working out of your RV.
Yeah, I have seen a few online that it's just like, holy cow. I could just live
Yeah,
in that. I don't need a house. I'll live in
exactly.
my semi.
I think that's what a lot of them do, if I'm not mistaken, which I could be.
It's completely possible. A lot of the drivers that actually have families, though, actually either own their own cab and actually run contract wise, or
Mm,
they they are on a company one, in which case they don't get the whole bed thing. They get maybe a reclinable chair.
yeah, yeah.
So there's always
Every time,
drawbacks.
yeah, for sure. It's not an easy life. They
No.
make it look so fun though, I swear. Especially when like you see those like YouTube videos where they have like cats that just like they picked up along the way and they
Right.
just like became fast friends and stuff. So it's like there's a lot of like really like cool like heartwarming stories about it. Every time I see one like pulled over, um, like because sometimes uh uh from what I know, which isn't much, um, whenever I see them pulled over like on an off ramp or an on ramp, I I if I'm not mistaken, I think they're like sleeping,
Yeah.
like there may not be a rest stop or something readily available, and they just kind of like find like a really wide medium and
Yep.
or shoulder or something. And like every time I see that, I'm always like, sleep tight, like thank you, like
Yeah.
I send a little love their way.
Um, they're actually limited on how many hours a day they can drive.
Right, I have
So
heard that because they run themselves ragged sometimes, and it's
yep.
like, can't do that, buddy. Like,
The
we need
down.
people driving
Yeah.
vehicles that big to be awake and alert and
Now the downside to the whole, no, limited number of hours you can drive, that clock starts the minute they turn on the engine and get on a road. So even if they're not hauling anything, their time to drive is being affected.
well, I mean, it's still that kind of makes sense because
It does a little
they're
bit,
driving,
but
you know.
but the problem is that they're not getting paid for this time when they have nothing to haul.
Oh,
So it's eating into their income of
that
what
doesn't
hours
make
they could actually,
sense.
yeah. So, and it also depends on the state, I think, whether or not they
Uh,
have that type of a law. But yeah, I saw a video on
State company.
YouTube where a guy had literally just turned on his truck and was driving out of his driveway to get towards the highway to go to where he had a pickup, and cop pulled him over. This is your DOT inspection. I need you to show me your log and your and all that, and said, you know you are logging the hours that you're driving right now, right? So it's like these DOT inspectors are a lot of the times just downright jerks. Because another thing that I've seen is that they would be pulled in waiting for service at a garage to get to get their headlights checked or something like that. Get the things that are wrong with their
general
truck
maintenance.
fixed. And DOT will pull up and fine the person waiting to get into service just because he was sitting in his truck at the wheel. Yeah. Being a truck driver is hard life in
crazy.
Yeah, in tons of ways that you don't think about.
Yeah, for real.
Oh.
Yeah, I admire people who can put up with it. I really do.
Yeah, so do I.
As long as you're not that one driver that. Okay, so listen. There was one truck driver that I was trying to get onto an off ramp, and whenever I merge in front of semis, I give like at least 3 car lengths of space. I hate cutting semis off for everyone's safety involved. It's a dumb idea to cut off a semi, you know?
Right.
So I got enough distance in front of this semi before I merged over, turned my signal, and this semi truck driver just happened to choose that exact moment to speed up and start closing the gap. And like, if I missed my exit is what I'm trying to say, and was a little bit late to work. Not drastically late to work, but like I was fuming.
I hate when that happens.
I don't know what possessed him to do this. I have heard of stories though where like semi truck drivers would get on the radio and like purposely mess with other drivers, and like I hope that's not common practice, because that's so mean and dangerous and annoying. And
right,
like there are drivers who like they'll ride side by side to keep people from passing them because they think it's hilarious and stuff. It's just like, don't do that. Fucking just And I have been stuck behind situations like this where I'm like picturing them talking on the radio and like laughing and like shit, and I just want to just like rear end them. But you know, that's just road rage talking.
Exactly.
That's just road rage talking, people. I'm not gonna rear end any semis, trust me. But yeah, it's just, if you're not those kinds of semi drivers, I admire the shit out of you.
Right. So that's everything that I've been thinking of this weekend. So
cool. That's so cool. You're thinking of productive things and doing cool things with your life.
Yeah, I don't know how cool, but you know, just having a life in general will help.
Hey, having a life is cool.
But we're at like 24 minutes, so let's call it a day. Sure, it's a day.
Yeah,
we'll
no,
call it a
that
day
makes
here.
sense.
Let me make sure I switch scenes. There we go. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, mouse got stuck to itself. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow the channels. And on Wednesday, there will be an announcement. So make sure you see the Wednesday episode. And I will leave it to Panchi to lead us out.
I guess, you know, I always ask for your stories because we've all been through like different things. If you're a driver, I want to know your stories, like a truck driver, or if you have an experience with a truck driver that, you know, on the road that was kind of scary and you want to talk about it, you know, I want to hear your stories. So like, let me know in the comments below.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.